We are recording.
Hey guys, okay, so Q&A, shoot it up. Stacy, questions?
Can it be anything business?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a client that is through the state. The state pays for him. So he has disabilities. He doesn't show up very often. And I'm getting really irritated, not with him, well, with him too, but the fact that I can't bill the state the way that I normally will. And so every month I'll send my invoice on the 25th of the month following a month I've finished services. So my services for January, I could only bill January 25th. And this just lately, it's been the lady that I'm supposed to send the invoices to, she's like not responding to me. And so in my mind, I'm trying to decide, I keep them because I need the income, really, but nobody's benefiting, and it's just irritating not getting my money. How should I approach this? What do you guys do?
Why don't you tell us first what you feel like you should do?
Well, I mean, I've emailed her a few times. I went kind of above her. They don't like that when I do that, but I want paid. So, and then I just called her right before this call. So, I mean,
how much are you generating monthly from this person?
$429.
It's $429 a month?
Yes, and it's 3 times a week. He's supposed to come. He may show up once a week.
And so he maybe shows up once a week?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like your time is spent better elsewhere?
Well, I mean, it's such a toss-up because, no, because I can do work while I get there.
So you can do work. If he doesn't show up, you just do work. And if he shows up, you do the training.
Right.
And you took the time to find additional clients or build MPA. Would you generate more than $429 a month?
It would take a few clients to replace them.
Okay, so you
I'm
really
at a point where I still need to get to a good financial situation before I can start cutting stuff out.
Okay.
I should probably keep them and just put up with it for right now.
I would. I mean, the headache is that they're just not responding to you and paying your bill.
Right.
But they should eventually pay that bill, right?
Yeah, they will. Just frustrating. Maybe it's my controlling. Me trying to be controlling. Come on.
And when that person doesn't show, you get paid no matter what, right? So you get paid the flat fee of whatever. It's just
right. Yeah.
So in cases like that, because sometimes we have that here too, what I tell people is it's always easier to find a job when you have a job. So when you're, and this guy's a pain in the ass, it sounds like more of it's just a hassle of the payment because the guy doesn't even show up anyway, is that when he does show up, you give him the best personal training session that anybody can have. And when he doesn't show up, you still get paid, but you work on getting more people in so that when those other people come in at that time, you use that time wisely. Don't go on Facebook, use it wisely and get enough clients so that you don't have to worry about that being held hostage to the state.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's just an inconvenience. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It's not like killing your business. It's not stopping you from doing anything. He's not taking over a very important time slot that you could generate twice as much money out of. But I would definitely get on the state to give you your money. That's annoying.
Yeah.
How far behind are they in your payments?
Well, not very far, just this month. But they have 10 days to get it paid, but she just doesn't respond at all. And I've emailed somebody, I'm like, is she in? Oh yeah, she's been here every single day. Like, come on. So I don't know if I've made her mad because I went ahead above her and now she's just ignoring me. Because they get to take a discount if they pay it within 10 days. It's like a 2% discount. So they normally pay it. And it's just nice knowing, that you're getting that at the beginning of the month.
So they're past the 10 days?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. They'll pay.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Okay. So that question.
What other questions do you have?
Oh gosh. The one thing that I didn't feel strong in yesterday was everything. It all went great, but going in, I still need to go back and just get some really good questions for a business. I know we went over that, and then I went back through my questions, and they just don't flow very well. Like I feel like I just out of conversation, I gather what they need, but then when we go back in, the one statement before you go into the presentation of these are all just bigger symptoms, or these are all just symptoms, so that just doesn't flow with this situation. I mean, how important when you're going into a business are those gathering questions?
So explain to me what you did yesterday.
I'm trying to get an on-site wellness center in this building, and where it'll double up as my actual facility. So it's in an office building. So there's numerous tenants, and so the owners of the building are having us meet with decision makers or influencers of each business to see if it's even something they're interested in.
Okay.
But really, I mean, at this point, it seems like it's just a conversation and me giving them information, and they came back with some, hurdles, then I could turn it around and be like, well, this is why you would still want one. And this is why it's worth your money.
The hurdles are huge. What were the hurdles that they came back with?
One was, I don't know how we could get people to come down there all the time or take 30 minutes out of their day. And so the biggest thing is like, they don't have to come down for 30 minutes. Like it's going to benefit your business by them coming down, even if they take a 5-minute break and run down and do something. Or
so does that lead to accountability?
Right. Yeah. They're going to be more accountable. We can figure out. And my biggest thing I came back with is like, if you're paying me to run this program, you're going to get a return on it because I'm invested to making sure you get results.
But why are they going to get results?
Because of accountability. For the biggest part, I think accountability and the coaching.
And the coaching.
All the way around.
And could it possibly be because you're going to give everybody a plan and a system to follow?
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah. Those sound like the 3 items.
Yep.
That's why those 3 bullet points hit everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're struggling with, am I getting the right information, do exactly what we just did here. Start with the hurdles. Start with the obstacles. What is it that they're saying their problems, their obstacles, their hurdles are that they're having? And drive the questions to show that, right?
Okay.
Typically they're going to lead to accountability, to coaching, to support, to system, to a plan, all the same things.
Okay.
All right. Now, when it is in a business, it's still the same thing because the business is still wanting their employees to feel better, look better, be more productive. But the problem is that they still don't have the system, the accountability, or the coaching. I was trying to think of maybe there might be something else, but there never is. It's always the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, with the 2 people I met with, they didn't come up with any real business, as a business, any issues that they deal with.
Typically, from a business perspective, it's productivity, right? If your employees aren't healthy, they're sick a lot, they're missing work, they're not producing, and they're not productive at work, right? That's typically what the business issue is. And so when they want to put in some kind of wellness program, it's because they're trying to increase productivity and reduce sick time.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So maybe I covered that before they even told me that may have been an issue. Like I just covered it in conversation of what we were going over and why they would want it in there. To where they didn't have to say, like they just agreed with me. It's like, oh yeah, that's important. They got it. They get the purpose of it. So it's not like I'm not going in there because they're looking for it. I'm going in there because we want to put it in there and show them why it's important.
And why it's important is because what?
Right. Just, I mean, because the bottom line, their productivity will be,
Yeah.
if you put it in there, everything will increase.
Yeah, and then you'll get the objection, well, they're not going to show up, they're not going to do it. And we'll go back to what we talked about last week is that, well, that's what I would do. I would provide them coaching and accountability to ensure that they're going to show up and get results and feel better and be more productive.
Okay. Perfect. So it doesn't have to be all the questions at the beginning. I mean,
no, it doesn't, but it has to be enough questioning and probing to truly understand what their needs and problems are, and enough that they understand what their needs and problems are. Because remember, it's all going to come back to the end of the conversation. And what you don't want at the end of the conversation is for there to be objections. And because if there are objections, that means you didn't ask enough questions and do enough probing on the front end.
Okay.
Right? So that's, if you can get enough information to understand them and have them understand them with 5 questions, fine. I rarely see that happen, but okay, that's great. But it's the number of questions that you need to show them that they've got a problem.
Okay.
All right. And you want those questions and those problems to relate to the issues that we talk about. They don't have accountability. They don't have a system. They don't have a coach, right? They're missing these things. Your presentation will show the value of how they're going to get at it. But remember, if they say, I don't have time, well, the question that you asked at the beginning about, are you going to make this a commitment level 10, right? Then we got to find the time. There's ways we can plan and hold you accountable to getting here so you have the time. Okay. So the questions don't have to be a lot of questions, but they need to be enough to understand the problem.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any more? Anything else you want to ask?
No, I think that's it for now.
Good.
That's it completely?
What's that?
That's it completely? You don't have any other questions?
Well, I didn't know it was going to be question and answer today. I might think of some more.
All right.
But I'm good for now.
Hey, Jeff. Today's question and answer day. Ask a question.
Why are you bald?
No, I'm not. I just shaved my head.
That's what I say too.
So what questions do you have?
I don't have any right now. I'll think of something.
What pops into your head right now?
You don't want to know what's in my head, right?
Tell us.
Oh no, I'm work distracted right now.
So you're not present here right now with us?
No, I am. I am here, but I wasn't 5 minutes ago.
So what's in your head right now?
Nothing. I don't have any specific questions today.
How are you feeling? How are things going with MPA?
Just started to refocus more time into it. So it's never as fast as I want it, but it's going in the process that I want it. So soon it's going to explode.
Yeah. Are you feeling so soon it's going to explode? It doesn't go in the time that you want it to go. Does that mean that it's kind of not understanding the journey, not feeling the process of it? It's instant gratification of it, or just like a lot of things getting in the way, or? No,
it's setting your priorities and getting those and setting it in order and, just systematizing everything so it flows. That's kind of it. That doesn't happen overnight. And
sure.
That's kind of where I was at before. Was I was trying to do everything at once without kind of focusing on a little bit and then add and add and add. So it's getting there.
So, like, out of my own curiosity, what are your non-negotiables for the days?
For today?
For days.
For days. Workout. And I mean, there's other weekly ones, but it's workout and basically certain days I have certain things that go in that I won't change.
Yeah. How are those non-negotiables going?
For the most part, I mean, barring any super, crazy kid things, then it's going well.
Yeah. I feel like that's helpful, like having that non-negotiable in place where you make sure that you get that thing done before anything else.
Well, definitely. I think, making sure that that's in first. It's kind of like that analogy, the big rocks, put the big rocks in first and everything else slides in. If you put everything else in first, then you throw your big rocks in, they don't fit. Well, that's kind of what was happening to me. So you put those big rocks in first and you slide everything else around it, which, it's a process.
Sure, absolutely. Helgi, how are you, buddy?
Great.
Any questions of your
own? Well, yeah. I've been trying to figure out a way to get more people into my program, and actually I signed up a client yesterday for my 3-month program.
Ooh,
and I went through the changemaker questions and it worked perfectly.
how about that? Say that again, Helgi.
Say it loud too.
It's perfect. It was just awesome. But I've gone through it twice, and I actually made the mistake the first time not to have. I was talking to this kid who's in college, a golfer. He's 22 years old, and I made a mistake not to have his father on the line as well, because he was going to pay for the program.
Yeah.
So I didn't. So last night, Monday night, I had the father as well on the line, and I sold him the program.
Excellent. So let me make a comment about that real quick before you go on with your question. So there is a piece to the change maker that we didn't really dive into. We touched on it, but we didn't dive into it, and that's the front end pre-qualification piece. Because as you get better and you get more practice with the whole process, you're going to want to make sure that you're talking to people that will buy. And so there's really 2 pieces to pre-qual that you want to go through. And number one is it in your budget, right? Is the price right? It's more, is it in your budget? Because some people will have true budgetary financial constraints. It won't be a value issue. It'll be, I don't have the money issue. So you could pre-qualify on, my programs run anywhere from $300 to $500 a month. Is that within your budget? After, of course, you give them a synopsis of what it is that you're going to do for them. But the second, as Helgi, you realize, pre-qualification point is decision makers, right? When you're setting up your consult, the question to ask the person is, are there any other people involved in the decision-making process that should be on this consult with us? Many times family members have spouses or partners or parents that need to be involved in the decision-making process, and we want to include them in this initial consultation. So is there anybody else involved in the decision-making process that should be on the call? And if they say yes, okay, great. Can they come at this time that we've set? And make sure that they come on the call as well. Because the last thing you want, and Helgi, you end around it great, because you made the sale, but the last thing you want is for somebody to go home and tell you, okay, I have to think about it. I have to discuss it with my husband or my partner or whoever. And they go home and they tell their spouse, okay, I want to invest $1,000 a month in this awesome mindset program. I really want to do it. And the spouse is like, are you kidding me? $1,000? That's crazy. They haven't heard the value that the person heard. They haven't heard the whole the consult. They didn't get the probing and the value and all of the presentation points that the partner got. So they're not going to understand the value of $1,000. And you'll 9 times out of 10 lose that sale. So always make sure, like Helgi did, that you have all the decision makers on the call initially. Good job.
Thanks. Well, like I said, I've been trying to get more people like interested in my program, and like I think it's sometimes like a money issue. They don't know what because it's a new program, and I charge like $500 a month for it. So I wasn't gonna do like a low-end program, but I actually was looking at my friend's website who does a mindset program as well, but his approach is a little bit different. I just like the way he structured it, so I actually structured out a 12-week course that's gonna have like just a monthly or actually 4 Q&A calls. I would just provide them with short lectures on the assignments that they have to do, and then I'm going to offer they could buy a phone call with me if they need it, and it's going to be a very low. It's going to be not a very low price. It's going to be about $100 and like $100 and $150 a month. So I'm just trying to figure out a way, because I think this approach might work, because it's a system that I think the process that I want my clients to go through.
Go ahead, Gary.
How many other programs do you have? You have 2 other ones?
No, I just have this one-on-one programs at the moment.
And that's $1,000 a month?
No, that's 500.
So you have the one program for 500, and then you offer this other one, which is a lesson call every month for 12 weeks for $150 a month, right? And then they can buy a la carte phone calls with you?
Yeah.
For how much?
I was maybe thinking like $100.
$100.
Helgi, what is your concern? Your concern is that you want more people in your $500 a month program, or your concern is that you want more people introduced to the program? What is your ultimate?
Yeah, it's like more of an introduction into the one-on-one coaching.
Okay.
Yeah, so it might be an upsell. So when they're done with the program, they say, okay, I might need some more. I might need your help. I can't just do it by myself. So that's the maybe the process I'm thinking about, because
here's what I would say. Sorry, Camilla, you're going to talk.
No, you go ahead.
Here's what I would say. If that's the path that you choose to go on, I would make the phone call more expensive than the program per month, okay. Right? So then that shows even more value toward the upsell that you sell them after the 12 weeks. That's what, if you were to go down that path.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
And I would add to that, 12 weeks is a long upsell process, right?
Okay.
If your goal is to ultimately get people into the 12-week coaching program at $500 a month, what 12 weeks of an online is a long sales cycle.
Okay.
Right? But let me ask you a question. Who is your target right now? Who are you targeting the coaching program towards?
The one-on-one coaching?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't really have any specific target. That's maybe a problem. But I mean, I have 2 golfers now, so in the one-on-one program. So that's maybe a target.
It's your current list or your current sphere of influence. So people that already know you are the ones that you can target to buy into the 12-week coaching?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you considered doing some kind of workshop or webinar or introduction to you and mindset to these folks?
Yes, I've done it.
To the golfers?
No, yeah, I did for the golfers.
Yeah,
and I actually did it for my clients at my facility, where
12 weeks is 3 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I get messed up sometimes.
So when did you do those workshops and how successful were they?
I mean, I had maybe 30 people show up, but it was, I mean, I didn't sign really any clients up because I only offered this one-on-one coaching program.
And the call to action in your workshop was what? Sign up for my 500 or sign up for a consult?
Well, that's the issue. I didn't have any consult, so.
Okay. All right. When did you do that?
It's been like a couple of months ago.
Okay. Try it again.
Okay.
Try it again and convert the call to action instead of just sign up right away to the consult and go through the change maker, because now you know that it works.
Yeah.
I do agree that your online, the 150 is a good idea, but I wouldn't do it for 12 weeks, right?
Okay.
It's a really long sales cycle. I think you can get somebody a lot of value in 4 to 6 weeks, half that time, and drive them to your online, to your coaching program much quicker.
Okay. So 6 weeks. That's what I did the first time. But I think I have now the process that I want them to go through. I just have to rearrange some stuff.
When you say the process, you mean in terms of the weeks, the modules each week?
Like just like the systematize the process that I want my clients to go through, because I was probably maybe going through the process that I went through with MPI, but now I think I can get them a little bit more value in those 6, maybe 8 weeks.
Okay.
So maybe leaning towards 8 weeks.
Okay. Make sure that you do offer them one consultation during that 8-week period. You have to speak to them at least once in that process so that you can do the consult with them.
Okay.
Okay? Because you want to be able to do the consult in order to upsell them to the private coaching.
Okay.
Right? But then any additional calls after that can be on a per pay basis.
Okay.
Good. Anything else? Any other questions?
No, I mean, I think that's great. I think that I have a process in place, and getting them the consultation, just one free consultation, is a great idea.
Yeah.
For the upsell.
You had 15 people last week that joined the Facebook group. Are you still getting folks in that group?
Yeah. Let me just see how many I got. I got a lot of people just in the last 36 hours, maybe like, let me count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got at least 19 in the last 36 hours.
Nice.
What about driving that Facebook group to a workshop or an online workshop or a webinar?
Yeah, it had to be an online workshop because it's, I can do that.
Yeah, do it, like a webinar. Just like this. And you can go through your workshop contents in a webinar basis and then drive everybody to a consult.
Okay.
So there's 3 avenues of growth. Number 1, your Facebook group, driving them via webinar to a consult. Number 2, your community that you already have, again, driving to a webinar or workshop again. You did it 2 months ago. And number 3 is driving your whole entire community list, whatever, everybody, to the shortened online program at $150 a month.
Okay.
Just make sure that you do offer the consult in there and do follow up to remind everybody that they have that consult and get them scheduled.
And keep us posted.
It equates very similarly to in the fitness world, when you do like a 28-day challenge or a 6-week challenge, right? You're offering your external market this challenge for what, $297 or $199 or whatever. But within that challenge, you're always offering them a health and fitness consultation, always. And typically it helps to do that at the beginning of that program. And then you try as best you can to sell them into your regular programs right there, and maybe just discount by what they've paid for the challenge or whatever. But if you don't get the sale, then you have opportunity to show them value, show them what you can do, and re-engage and sell and upsell them at the end.
Okay.
The same idea. Jeff Patton, you furrowing your forehead. Do you have questions, or are you thinking about that?
No, it's kind of just a thought about how, how he's doing his, and kind of the process of where I'm at right now. Of I have my 6-week that I've done. I like that format. And then what was next was, I was going to go into like a 3-month program, but then why don't I just do it as a recurring monthly program, like a coaching program? So I'm just trying to figure out the steps, or is it 3-month and then into the coaching program? So it's kind of something I need to figure out with the parents that I've worked with. What kind of works? What would they want?
Well, remember, the parents aren't going to really know what they want, right? They don't know.
Oh, no, the kids, but it's kind of a hand in hand of the kids want it, the parents want it also. So, but
based
they're
on
the ones that pay the money.
Based on what you are trying to instill in these kids, what program works best, right? What format works best? And quite honestly, what I've seen work best is what you mentioned, the latter, a 3-month initial program where they get the basics, they get the foundation, they get, to where they can sustain it, and then monthly after that. Because, your goal is to show value and to get results.
Yep.
And if you just start off on a month-to-month, you don't know what kind of results.
No, not to start off, but you have my initial program is the 6-week to get them into the door. It's a little less expensive. Then the more value is in the back end of month to month, or I can roll them into a 3-month. So it's kind of it's just something I need to try probably.
Okay. Good.
Can I say something? It's been my experience with rolling programs out like that. There's lots of different scenarios that you can run through in your brain. And as you sit here and are influenced by 4 other people of what can change in your program, right? I could do this now. Oh my God, I could do this. I could do this, or we can do this. It's been my experience that when that happens to me in the past, I have overthought and been paralyzed. Right? I don't know if that happens to you, but you overthink instead of taking the action steps to just push out a thing.
Well, that's kind of the last comment I said was I just need to try it.
Well, no, you need to do it.
Well, that's right.
No, it's not the same.
Semantics.
But like that's right. So there's a million different things that and throughout your process, that's the beauty of what you've learned in MPI, dynamic versus fixed mindset, is that you can change it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. It's okay to change, right? It doesn't have to be that fixed one program that works that one time, right? You do things till they work, right? But you're able to change and adapt and adjust. But for me, I'm not saying this is your thing. I'm saying for me, that used to paralyze me. And I would overthink it. And then I would write 10,000 notebooks of different scenarios of different situations. And then I just wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it until the day that I actually talked to people about it, actually rolled something out, had no idea specifically of all my systems in place and all that other stuff in place, but learned from doing that, created my systems. If that makes sense. Does that make sense, Camelia?
Totally. Yeah. Nothing is ever set in stone, ever. I can't tell you anybody that I've ever worked with, myself included, that started out with a plan and ended up with the same plan.
Yeah.
Not even
close. And sometimes when you have the best ideas, like outside of programs like this, I thought I was a rock star when I first started investing in like real estate. And I thought I was a rock star because I'd done it for other people. And I totally plummeted and fell on my ass so many times thinking I was a rock star. But then learned from that, created systems from that, and then created other things to build businesses that way. So taking that out of MPA, taking it into a different part of life, take it into your relationship with your wife and your kids, right? Same thing, right? You never know how it's going to turn out, but you're able to adapt and adjust and be dynamic and learn, and then you create the systems from there. Does anybody else have any other questions? Camille, do you have any questions? Stacy has a question.
I do. So I'm doing this booth at like this huge wellness expo in April, and I decided to do it because they're giving me, like, you can present as long as there's like a seminar on just kind of side stages. Anyways, doing a booth, I've always been just super minimalist. Like, here's my Facebook page. So, but I feel like I should do something more print, like a brochure, or this looks good. Like 10,000 people could go through in these 2 days, and want to make sure I make a good first impression on top of me talking to them that they remember. Do you recommend it? And should I overthink it when making a brochure. Do I just hire somebody to do it?
First of all, let's take a step back. What is your number one intention of having this booth? What do you?
I want to generate people that I can go in. Actually, I want to talk to business owners, be able to go in and set up my mindset, like training and development program for them. So just generating leads that I can get on the phone with them to tell them more.
Okay. You just hit it right there. Generate leads. I'm going to change your generate to a word, capture. Capture leads. Okay. So what are some ways that you can capture leads at a health fair like this? Does a brochure do it?
No, and that's why I never do it before. I'm just like, well, let me take your information and you can start following me on Facebook.
So what can you offer at this booth to capture? Are you just bouncing to try and say something?
Are you gonna say something?
Go ahead, Stace.
I don't know. There's a lot of different. Are you thinking ways to get their name to like in like a drawing or something like that? Okay.
Yeah, just brainstorm. What are ways? There's not a wrong answer to that question. What are some ways that you can actually capture leads?
Right. I have a drawing.
A drawing for what? I mean, what could they draw for?
I know. That's where I'm kind of trying to stump, because since I've been in the fitness.
Who's going to be at? Go, Gary.
How about, right? This works all the time for me. How about when you have a booth of something like that? I'm a huge fan of everything that you all just said. Huge fan, huge component. What has worked really well for me is when people walk by, I talk to them and then I ask them for their information.
Yeah. That's what I did too. Okay, I did a booth and I just had.
And then,
sorry.
No, it's all good. I did the 3-second pause and I apologize. And then I don't send them to Facebook. I don't send them to my website. I send them an email and I call them.
Okay.
And then they are clients. That's how I do it. That's
okay. So when you take their information, how much do you actually physically put it into your phone? I'm just thinking when somebody puts my name and number into my phone, now I'm like, wow, I'm in their contact list. You know,
that's a mindset thing that you got going on right there.
Okay.
I think. Camellia?
I would just write it down on a piece of paper.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how you capture it, just get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Just get it. What Gary said is true. However, I'm going to qualify what Gary says. When you have 10,000 people, you know, sometimes it's not easy to talk to everybody and gather the information. So talking is the best way. You're already building the rapport. You're already getting to know you, like you, trust you foundation. But I feel that some kind of way to capture, like an assessment, or fill out this form. I'm going to drop it in a fishbowl, and you're going to, I'm going to draw for some kind of, 2-week mindset test drive or something that you can do, helps to encourage folks to just stop by, give you contact, and fill out. Because if you're having that much people, and are you there by yourself?
Well, I was actually talking to Tara to see, because it's like in the middle for both of us. I'd mentioned it to her, but otherwise it'll be just me. Yeah.
Good. So you want a combination of ways to gather that, to capture that contact, capture the lead.
Okay.
Gary?
Go ahead.
I'm just thinking of ways, a lot of times at health fair type things, there's assessments, stop and do this assessment or take this quiz and I'll send you your results, kind of thing. That also facilitates conversation, obviously, when you're doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That works really well when you have another person with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't always work really well when you're by yourself, because that's like training a client and the phone ringing and you're by yourself, right? You train a client, you can't pick the phone up, right? It works well though. You do get a lot of people interested in stuff like that.
So then when designing the booth, then what I did last time is I just took some pictures with different quotes on it, like mindset quotes. And so everybody, like, nothing even said who I was. They had to come and ask me. And so then I got the conversation started that way. If there's that many people going through and you're not able to actually talk to everybody and that you have a drawing, how can they know even what you do? I have till April, the beginning of April for this, by the way.
What I have found that works in that kind of situation is, so we don't do it so much anymore, but as booths, we used to run like different events. And we would, and if you put a poster board that you get at, do you have CVS in Hastings?
No, let's go with Walgreens.
Walgreens, okay.
No.
So you go to Walgreens, and we would actually write with magic marker a testimonial, and then the person's name below, and we would have those all over the place, and people would walk by and read and be like, oh, this person did this. This is crazy. And blah, 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 which starts up conversation, which then all of a sudden they see the social proof, and then they talk to you, and then they start to like you, and then they start to trust you, and then you get their information, and then they become your client.
Okay. So I've been on the right road of not having to get all the, like, make my thing look super uber informative. Everybody's like, you should put stuff on paper. You should do this. I'm like, oh, that's just so much work, and I'm not good at it, and I don't want to do it. So let me just tell you what I do. We should just talk. So that's good news.
Do you know who Damon John is?
No.
Have you ever heard of? So have you ever watched him show Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever heard of? I'm sorry.
Nothing.
So have you ever heard of the athletic wear FUBU?
No.
Okay, it's all good. Has anybody heard of FUBU? No. Okay. Well,
Right here.
y'all. So FUBU.
I know what that stands for, though.
What does it stand for?
I'm just joking. A long time ago.
Yeah. It stands for you by you, right? And and Damon John created this athletic wear or this company a long time ago when hip hop was coming up from New York, right? And I don't know if you guys are into hip hop. I'm really into hip hop and listened to it for a really long time. So I've been around FUBU for a while. But anyway, it's very interesting to me. But what his mindset of his success with FUBU is he had no money. He literally made the t-shirts himself. And what he did was he would literally, excuse me, go to these new rappers' videos who are new and upcoming rappers and say, would you mind wearing this t-shirt in your music video? And then he'd be like, you know what? I don't have any money, so can I take the t-shirt back? And so the reason I tell you that story is because it's not about glitz and glamour all the time. It's about what you do with what you have. Right? When you don't have the money to spend on brochures, right? Don't spend money on brochures. Right? If you do with what you have and you make the best of what you have, and it's not the flashy booth that's going to sell people. It's the person behind the booth that's talking to the individual that sells the people.
Okay, perfect.
That's just my thought. That's not fact.
No, I agree with it. I mean, you get a lot more return on it when they don't just come by and grab the information.
Right.
And you talk to them. So
in Elevate Fitness, we've spent a lot of stupid money in the past on advertising in specific things that we thought we were going to get great returns and got nothing from those returns. And then I was like, why am I spending so much money on stuff where I don't know if the return, they tell you your ROI is going to be X, blah, 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 and it's not. But if I had, like, why can't I just go out there? And the more that I have in the past put myself out there, the more of a return of investment you get than is if you just throw money out there.
That's very true. And the other key component to that is the follow-up. Right? You have to do continuous, consistent, persistent follow-up after that. And in a personal way, like Gary said, email, phone call, little note, just be consistent in the follow-up.
And be real, right? It's just about being real and being who you are. Like, people nowadays throw that word like authenticity around and transparency and all of that stuff. But like, just be you. I've told you a million times. So like, if you just have that conversation, and it, like yesterday, before you went into your meeting, you called me and you're like, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, just be Stacy, right? And it's awesome. Like, just be Jeff, right? Huggy's just Huggy, right? And all 5 of us on this phone call and everybody listening has a different them, right? And so you be you, and don't shy away from that. Camellia is way different than I am. I'm way different than she is. Like, we bicker and we argue and she yells at me and all that stuff, but like, it works, right? It works because we are who we are and we don't try to be somebody else. right? It's that once you get past that influence stage, like the influence of the people saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. This is what I'm doing. Maybe that won't work. Like, it's I almost want to say think for yourself, but I don't know if that's the correct mindset way to say it. But think for yourself. Like, don't be so influenced by everybody else.
Yep.
Go, Gary.
All right.
That was good.
Anybody have any questions?
I love these calls. These are awesome.
They're good calls.
They are
I
awesome.
wish more of our MPAers would come on. If you're listening, I wish that more of you mofos would come on this call because it's super informative. Is it not, guys? Like, do you not leave this call with some nugget of, damn, I'm going to do this? I could point out to all three of you that are on this call right now that we've changed something like that.
Right. I agree.
Just look at my head wrinkle, as I would say.
Have you thought of, I'm sure you have, like switching the time every once in a while for those ones that have stuff going on during this time? It works perfect for me, but
This time's a great time.
I know it is a good time. So
I'm gonna
you don't have
stop
to
recording.
Oh, shoot. Just make it happen. Make it happen, people.
All right. We're done recording. Hit